welcome to another episode of the Clock Enders podcast. We have a semi-full house here today. Life of the party as usual, and we also are being joined by Gooner Tech, actually. Welcome back. It's been a while. Welcome back. We have a couple of games that we need to react to. We just finished watching Newcastle versus Arsenal. It was going to be a tough game. It was always going to be a tough game at their yard, but I think we stood up to the challenge, tried to bully us, and we pushed back. So I think we're going to start off just recapping the midweek game between Chelsea and Arsenal as well. Arsenal came out victorious in that game, 3-1. Another masterclass by Martin Odegaard again. Gabriel Jesus got on the score sheet as well. But we didn't react to that game, so we'll touch upon it a little bit in the beginning before we get to the Newcastle game.
Well, we didn't react to the game because it was Reginaldinho's birthday. So happy belated Red number 1 rip.
Thank you very much.
No
they gave me a great gift that day, so everything was looking well. But what did we see against Chelsea? I mean, Chelsea are garbage. And I think that we just did what we needed to do against them, honestly. I mean, you would expect an Arsenal team to do that to a Chelsea. This Chelsea, anyway.
Classic case of really hard because of the level of competition. You know, I mean, just a trash outfit. Borderline relegation team. I mean, they're not safe. They're certainly not safe. You know, so it sucks that we have to count on them to try and take any points from City. And then we have to cheer for them in any way, shape, or form. They did, I think, get a win yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So there's some hope. But wouldn't that be fantastic? All right, yes, they avoid relegation, but they maybe steal us some of the points that get us back into the lead. That would be so poetic.
Yeah, like most of the, as good as we are, most of the post game commentary was about how bad Chelsea was and how bad they've been this entire season. So, we had a good game. I think it was professional performance. I love that we started very quickly. Xhaka, another big performer that day too, with 3 assists. So it was a good win. It was an easy win, surprisingly. To be honest, I thought the game would be a lot tougher than that, but we did our job, and we continue to do our job with the Newcastle game today too. So I don't know, we're on the up. I feel like we're going to finish strong this season.
Well, the way the schedule is going right now, I think we have the opportunity to finish strong. There was always that stretch that we were always looking at around January, February. We were always looking at this stretch where it was Liverpool, City, Brighton, Newcastle away, Chelsea was in there, and that's going to define the season. And even those four winless games, those 4 games that we had were winless. I think we still came out pretty good, actually. Pretty good. It was always going to be tough, and we only lost to City. People always talk about the like I said, the 4 games, winless games, but it's 4 winless games. We didn't lose, right? We drew, or we drew those games. Granted, we were up 2-0 in a couple of them and should have saw the game out and didn't, but we didn't lose.
I mean, the frustrating part is the lineup that has straightened us out was available the entire time. It's going to be really hard if we lose the league by a point or 2 or 3 or 4. It's going to be really hard to swallow the fact that Kivior was there the entire time. And here in this group in this pod, we've discussed a number of different ways that we would try and phase Rob Holding out of the lineup and shore up the defense, which was leaking going into City especially, but I thought it could have been fixed before that. And the fact is we threw out so many different combinations. Tierney in the back 3, this, that, the third. Kivior. was the solution, and sitting there the entire time, waiting. And we got to give. To me, I mean, if I'm going for man of the match, I know that Xhaka had 3 assists, but Kivior is very high up there against Chelsea for me. And again today, even more immense today, and we'll get to that in a little bit.
So we're good with two left-footed center backs. Then we're good with that, right?
Right? Yeah, I know exactly. Yes. Make your point, Reg. Make your point,
Okay.
Reg.
Okay. Because I remember we talked about this.
Rip.
Well, I remember. I don't know what you guys heard, but I remember we talked about not playing Kiwior because he was the same foot as Gabriel, and we needed a right-footed. We needed a right-footed center back and a left-footed center back, and we can't deviate from that. And that's why I think Holding was there, because he's a right-footed center back. But right. I don't understand. You don't need to have a right-footed center back and a left-footed center back. You got two right-footed center backs forever and ever and ever, and it was fine. So now, it's the type of thing that Pep Guardiola starts to put in, and so these little intricacies to the games where you have to have this guy, you have to have that guy, this guy has to. You don't need it. You don't need it.
Yeah, I think
should have been playing beside Gabriel as soon as Saliba went down. He should have been the next guy. He's a Polish international. Started all 4 games of the World Cup. I don't care that Gabriel's left-footed and he is too. I don't care.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And I mean, he's been immense. And good on Gabriel for being just like the perfect dance partner. Whoever we're throwing in there against, beside him, he even with Holding, he's making lemonade out of lemons, and it's sweet lemonade. He's playing extremely well, and this is a huge game for us. People thought he might miss it because of the ankle. He played, and the fact is, it's a combination of what you just said plus the fact that Arteta has this thing, and I think that that's the reason why he's stuck with the first 11 so long. He really feels like, I owe it to these guys. They got us here. They're not gonna care 12 years down the line and 10 years down the line. You know what I mean? That they didn't play in the 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 7 or not or 3 of the 7 of the games in the run-in. You know what I mean? When they're lifting the trophy.
That's right.
Like, then no one's gonna remember that. You know what I mean? Like, no one's actually gonna remember that. He got the lineup right today, and he got the lineup right versus Chelsea. But my manager ratings are still gonna be reflective of the decisions that he made leading up to those games.
Oh, okay. That's a bit. I think a bit harsh. I'm gonna try to judge him just on today's game because I think he deserves a lot of credit for what he pulled off today against a tough Newcastle team. But to your point, Reg, about left-footed center backs, I think we need to give more credit to the Pole, man. He's his calmness on the ball, his passivity. I think it disregards that need for a left and a right-footed center back, man. He's had 2 great games.
Reg is being tongue in cheek because he's been saying this for the longest time. Okay,
I agree.
He's like, why do you need to write a right foot and a left foot center back?
You don't.
No, and it doesn't.
You don't. Well, we can see it now. We had 2 left-footed center back. We were never in trouble today, unless we gave the ball away on the wings. We were never in trouble today, were we?
No.
Honestly, they hit the post. Okay, fine, but.
First 10 minutes, they came out like gangbusters. Joe Willock possessed to make something happen against his own club. And then completely against the run of play, Odegaard turns it on its head. And from then on, it was all us downhill.
Right. So we'll put a pin in the Chelsea game, did what we needed to do, came away with the win as expected. We'll move on to the game at St. James's Park, which was always, like we said, which is always going to be difficult. Tried to bully us, stood up to it, came away with a 2-0 win. Edson, you said that Mikel Arteta got the lineup right. There's a couple of things in there that I would have liked to have seen. I mentioned it in the chat. definitely was a game that Tierney should have started in. If you want to play Zinchenko, just put him in the midfield. Just put him in the middle of the midfield then. Because this was a game that was meant for Kieran Tierney. Whether it was shop window, whatever, if you want to say shop window, but this is the type of physical game that Kieran Tierney was brought in to help us win.
Yeah, it's strange that Mikel Arteta has this loyalty to Holding and very much to Xhaka as well, but it doesn't seem to kind of extend to Tierney. You know, his preference tactically for Zinchenko, even though he's been, you know, in a lot of ways struggling at times defensively this last month here, his persistence with Zinchenko in the lineup is a bit puzzling, and I agree that Tierney could have played, and obviously been balling for Trossard for the longest. But today, the addition of Jorginho made all the difference, and you know that we're in Partey's corner over here 100%. But the way that Jorginho played, all energy, really like a lot of running. You know, Partey is rangy and positional, and takes his opportunities to nick the ball. Whereas Jorginho's in your face, and they were mentioning in the broadcast that Guimaraes was kind of played out of the game. I think that had a lot to do with Jorginho and with Odegaard as well, who was all energy today.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think with Tierney with the Tierney challenge, I think it's the fact that we play that inverted fullback position, right? And when you look at Zinchenko and Tierney, I don't think there's a comparison when it comes to like offensive, creative abilities in that position.
Right.
But defensively, he came in in the
30 minutes left.
Yeah, 30 minutes left of the game, and I think he disrupted every sort of chance and break that they had down that right wing.
Yeah, he shut down that side. So
amazing.
Yeah, he was great.
So yeah, I love Tierney. I hope he doesn't leave, but I totally understand it from his perspective, right? And you got to think with Tomiyasu back, when he's back from injury too, it makes it hard for him, right? Because Tommy can play both fullback positions too. So
Tommy needs to be concerned with winning this position back at right back, first of all.
100%. But I think Ben White has solidified that role. I think some of us thought he might start at center back today, and pull Partey in right back. But again, talking about Kiwior, solid game today.
Again,
so I think that's his position. To wrap up the season. I don't know who's going to take that off him. But anyways, back on the Tierney piece. Love the guy. Hopefully he sticks around. But he was a big part of us closing out that game today, definitely.
100%. So we'll get into our player ratings for the Newcastle game. Couple of man of the match performances from two players, most definitely. We've named two of them already, but we'll see. So we'll start with Edson, and we'll start in the net. Clean sheet, Aaron Ramsdale.
Yeah, clean sheet. Aaron Ramsdale got his finger on a couple of efforts. Had to do a lot of long ball distribution today instead of sort of playing short. Made a lot of really good decisions on when to go short, when to go long. I thought key clearances. Ramsdale, good, really, solid performance. Solid performance. If I'm giving him a rating, I'm gonna say I'm gonna give him. That's a between a 7 and 8. So I'm gonna go low 8.
Low 8. Okay, no problem. Tech.
Is Gareth Southgate watching? How is this man's the third goalkeeper on England right now? Honestly, against the number 2, and who came out on top today? huge saves. I think Pope had a good game too. Not
Oh man,
discounting
Pope did
that.
have a good game. Oh my god, the save on Saka was shocking.
But Ramsdale today, like huge performance. And the saves he did make, those are okay. Some of them were at him, but the one on Maximin huge save.
Very good.
And just him on the corners against a big side like Newcastle, putting his hand on things, grabbing those balls. I thought he had a great game today.
Grabbing those balls,
I like Raymer, man. And he was doing some of that intrinsic stuff too. When Wilson was giving Xhaka grief on the ground, he's separating the two. He's a really important player for us, and yeah, it showed today, and that's why I'm giving him a 9.
9.
Going high with the 9.
Okay. I'm giving him an 8 as well. Again, he made some great saves. Like you were mentioning, even on the corners, that's a big team, Newcastle. So when they bring their backs up for corner kicks and everything, those are trees in there.
Much less their center forwards.
Yeah, much Jolinton and all those guys. Those are big guys. So for him to be able to come out and claim the crosses.
Oh my! Sorry, De Gea just let in a fucking howler.
Oh,
my bad.
No.
Wow.
No.
Yeah, I'm on a light delay. Wow.
So 1-0 at West Ham.
Yep.
1-0 at West Ham.
I need those guys to get relegated. We can start poaching players from them. We'll talk about that later on, I guess.
Apologies, Reg.
Yeah,
no problem.
Seeing United out of these Champions League places would be quite nice. Ben Rama doing the old celebration too.
I don't know if I want Newcastle in the Champions League, but again,
I still got some hope in Brighton, but they need to beat us to get in there. So maybe not.
I would rather Brighton than Newcastle. Newcastle irk me, but anyways. So I'm giving him an 8. I'm giving him an 8, just because he played well. For me, 8's a very high rating. We'll move to the right hand side of the defense. We'll start with Tech with Ben White.
Ben White had a great game today, and the competition he was playing against, Isak is a terror.
Yes,
the speed and dribbling.
Yeah.
For him to keep him at times he got beat, but he was always tracking back. He was remaining aggressive the entire game. He was playing Saka, not as much as maybe the middle, like us playing through the middle of the park or on Martinelli's side, but I thought he had a great game. He did what he had to do. He helped with the clean sheet. He kept Maximin when he came on pretty quiet. So a good all-around performance from Ben White, and again, a reason why he's got that right back position on lock. So I'm going to give him an 8 today.
Okay, I'm giving Ben White an 8 as well. There was a point in the game where I was watching. I didn't see him at all. But when he was involved in the play, he was either getting forward, breaking up things that were happening on that left side as well. Playing.
He made a key block.
Oh yeah, that's right. At the end, towards the end, he did as well for a corner.
Yeah,
so
exactly, key block that towards the end.
That's also. That's right. So I thought he was incredible today. And like we mentioned earlier, when Tomiyasu comes back, what do? Ben White's on a right back. What do? Do you go out and buy a right back again for cover for Tomiyasu? Yes. I don't know how you move Ben White. Out of there, but again, that's a problem for Mikel Arteta, right? Next year,
you make the buy. The buy is going to take a little bit of time to settle in. It's probably going to be a young guy like this Fresnada kid, and if it turns out to be him, he's 18, 19, so he's definitely going to need some time to cook, anyways. But at that point, he'll be young cover. We'll have Ben White as cover at the right center back. Obviously, Kivior now has proven that we're not in trouble if we lose a right-footed center back, or if we have to play Ben White at right back, and two left-footed center backs. So we're not in bad shape. I would have liked to have seen how this would have looked against Manchester City, to be honest with you.
Oh, well, don't even.
I'll get into the what if. I'm
Don't
allowed.
even.
This is why we're
Don't
here.
even.
This is why we're here.
It's crazy, man. Oh man, I look back at that game and it's just like, why Rob Holding? He gets diced by Haaland every single time they play.
He gets diced by Haaland. He got diced how many weeks in a row before that too?
Yeah, I know. But he did come in and play some good games, so I can see why Arteta probably tried to ride that out. But
with how good this is looking compared to how shoddy that looked,
I know.
Like especially towards the end of the bits.
I know.
So,
I'll say like with Holding though, it wasn't like he was making big mistakes that led to goals. I think it's his presence that changes something up. Like he doesn't have the same, maneuverability.
But that's it, right? We're playing a way that's you have to be athletic in that role. You can't just be a stiff guy and play side to side. Kiwior gets up and down. He can make that pass. He can thread that ball through into the midfield. Holding can't do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Kiwior is among our fastest players. Kiwior is among our fastest players.
Right. That's right.
Holding needs to stay up in that cleanup position, and we're
needs to be a coach. He needs to be a coach. That's enough. It's enough now.
Yeah.
It's enough.
Yeah.
Or you can go back to Fulham if you want. But it's enough now. So I gave Ben White an 8. Tech gave him an 8. Edson.
Yeah, Ben White 8. This was a really good game for him. Like I said, that block, just kind of in the mix of everything. Like again, you didn't hear his name much, and you didn't hear. He had a really tough assignment, like Tech said. Isak, I'm thankful that they didn't start Isak up top. To be honest with you, I think that would have been a crazier challenge for our center backs to have to wrangle rather than Callum Wilson, who came at it from more of a physical standpoint and was in the middle of all the mess and mixing it up with Xhaka. I think Isak came to show Gunners what we were missing. He was heavily rumored to be coming to the Emirates and grew up a Gunner, etc. Wears the number 14 and plays a lot like him. I'll tell you that much. Plays a lot like him and really, impresses along that left sideline when he is patrolling it as well. He would have fit nicely as a Jesus in our system. The way that he likes to come out to the left, play on the wing a little bit, long, gets in the mix on headers. You know what I'm saying? Unbelievable with his feet, skill. Not selfish, can create for others as well. He's just a tough assignment. And Ben White had it most of the day, and he was really up for it. So that's a solid. That's a high 8. We'll call that. Yeah.
You played really well today, Ben White. We'll go to the middle of the field. I'll start off with Gabriel. I'm going to give him an 8 as well. Standard 8 performance. Didn't put her foot wrong. Was in the right place at the right time. Was physical when he needed to be. And typical center back performance for me. I'm giving him an 8. Edson.
Well, you know how we like to give our center backs matching numbers.
It's gonna be a lot of 8s today, I think. So
I'm gonna go a little higher here, and I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna go a little higher here. I'm gonna say a 9. I kind of alluded to the reasoning earlier. He is the perfect dance partner. Okay, like tall girl, short girl. All right, someone who kind of likes to lead, so he can kind of go along with it too. Like he plays with such a rhythm. He plays with such a rhythm that it's easy to play off of him. You know what I'm saying? Like what he does as a partner is predictable. He gives you the meat and potatoes. He's tough. Who's the first man in when there's a scrum and somebody's getting pushed? You know what I mean? It's Gabriel. He and the distribution that he does from the back is totally underrated. He's he's just he is our everything at center back. We all know that Saliba is probably the bigger talent, but Gabriel is the better player right now. Okay, and the consistency that we've gotten from him, not just this season, not just last season, and the fact that he is always available, can't sing his praises enough. A 9.
So a 9 from Edson Tech.
Yeah, Edson, hit it on the head there. I think the best thing for any player is availability. And the fact that he pulled up in that Chelsea game, I think we were all worried he wasn't going to play today. He played on one day's training, so huge performance from Gabriel today. I think the one thing I like about Gabriel being a left-footed player is when we have that left fullback pinching in the middle, he comes in and plays off the wing, and he gives that ball, up the field to, either Odegaard, Xhaka, or Martinelli on the left side. So he does it really well. I think his passing's tidy. He was a reason why I think we matched Newcastle in physicality today.
Yes. Yes.
But
did you hear Callum Wilson's name called all day? Huh?
Exactly.
Did you hear?
No.
Not even a peep. Not a peep, bro. The only time is when he's trying to grab someone's collar and rough somebody up. Okay,
that's right.
Callum Wilson got owned today. You know what I mean? Property of Gabriel Magalhaes.
Exactly right, and yeah, the clean sheet, man. I don't know. I'm loving the clean sheet, especially on a run of games where we haven't been able to,
especially there,
keep the door. Yeah, it changes so much, right? So yeah, Gabriel's getting a high rating for me today, but it's gonna be a high 8.
High 8.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And we've been singing this guy's praises for the last couple of games as well. So we'll move to Gabriel's partner, Kiwior. Edson, we'll start with you.
Look, I kind of foreshadowed this. I like to give. We sometimes like to give here on the show, matching numbers for the center backs, and this kid. It's like a January signing, right? His first appearance wasn't super positive. His first couple times out. Back to back now in a derby against Chelsea, and now in such a massive game, in such a massive place to play, St. James Park. These are your Premier League debuts. Game 1 and game 2. And to come up the way that this kid did, I think it's totally incredible. You know what I mean? It's wow performances today, especially. You know what I mean? Got to everything in his area, and I mean he's essentially the one. He's the one that's playing out of position, right?
Yeah.
And
that's right. He is. And if you subscribe to that,
right? He's playing in his unnatural spot. It's not where he plays for Poland. You know what I mean? He played some left back and on the left side. You know what I mean, for his club team before that. So this is not natural. You know what I mean? And he is making it look routine. You know what I mean? Even the VAR, he gets his leg to that. He gets his leg to that.
That's right.
You know what I mean? The guy, it's a 9 for me. I'll be short about it. It's a 9 for me.
Okay. Tech?
Yeah, man. He gets the higher rating for me today for our center backs. I'm going to give him a 9. But it's all for the same reasons Edson mentioned. He's so calm, man, on the ball. I don't know. It's scary, right? It gives Arteta so many decisions to make in future, and I don't know.
Not for the rest of the season. There are no decisions to be made for the rest of the season.
Well, if Saliba comes back, what do you do?
Saliba's not coming back.
He's not coming back this season?
Doesn't. He hasn't trained in so long. How long is he going to have to train now to get back to game ready?
You're right.
It's a wrap now. It's a wrap.
True.
Let's just move on from it.
Yeah, but he's a left-footed
Really?
player. Who knows? Maybe he can play in that fullback role, given his speed. Like he's looked amazing, and I think Edson said it too. But like 2 big games to play in, right? As big as a derby is, to play at home in front of the fans after a couple of not so great performances from him.
Right.
You looked great.
You have to have some nerve.
Well, his competition was Oba at the end of the day, so like let's factor that into. I don't think Oba really had any touches that game, but
you still gotta play whoever's out there, man.
Still gotta play him.
It's not his fault. Oba's garbage, right?
That's right.
Subbed at the half. Subbed at the half.
But no, I'm starting to fall for this guy, man. He's looking nice. So yeah, he's getting a 9 from me today. Big part of the clean sheet performance for us. I'm liking it. Let's hope he continues in that role.
Well, I like how you mentioned that he's tidy with everything. There's no when he gets the ball, it's no, oh my God, what's he gonna do with it? I know that he's gonna thread it to somebody, and it's gonna be to someone's feet, and then they're gonna be able to control it and turn. It's great when a defender can do that because that starts off the attack, right? So
he had a couple of skills on display today. There was one time when he was going back towards his and he controlled the ball, and I jumped out of my seat. I jumped out of my seat at that control.
He's a player. He's a World class player.
Lewandowski rates him. That's good
right.
Enough
that's good enough for me, man. That's good enough for me. Well, it's another pluck by Edu and Arteta, where we sit back and we say, who is this guy? And then it looks like 20 million is a bargain from what I see.
That looks like an absolute steal right now. How old again? Oh my gosh.
That's right.
22, right?
Some experience under his belt, too. Quality playing against Messi, etc.
That's right.
Serie A does that for you too, right?
Well, that's one thing about the Italian league. Like they produce defenders, right? So
defenders, yes.
I mean, yes. I'm giving him a high 8. Not going to fall into the 9 trap yet, so I'm going to give him a high 8. So far, he's leading with the man of the match ratings. We'll end off the defense on the left-hand side, and Zinchenko, who for me didn't have one of his better games. We'll start off with Tech.
Yeah, Zinni had a tough game.
Tough couple of games.
Yeah, tough. Yeah, true. Very true. Offensively, again, creatively, like I think he does well, but it's the defensive side of things that is worrying. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's fatigue. He's played a lot of games this year. I'm not making excuses for him, but I think we've always known, whether it was at City or before we pulled him in, that defensively there's some liability there. Murphy today, I think he skinned him on a play. And most of their chances today came from that right. I think, yeah,
right. It did
from that side, right? Maybe even, but yeah, he's seems that he's struggling. I don't know if it's a lack of confidence or whatnot, but it's pretty telling on Zinchenko's face when he's not having a great game. So, anyways, I think he gets a 6 from me today.
I gave him a 7. Defensively, it's for me. Tierney should have been playing. I know what you're trying to do. If you're not going to start Partey or play Partey, whatever for whatever reason, I still think you should put him in the midfield. In that case, if in a game like this, if you're not going to play Partey, because I think again, Kieran Tierney, this is the games that he's built for. Those they try to bully you. They're playing tough. They're getting around you. He's still fast. He's a fast guy. He's not going to get skinned. He gets in your face. This is the type of guy that needs to play in these games. So just for the defensive aspect of it, I'm giving him a 7 because offensively he was Zinchenko, but defensively it wasn't good enough for me. So I'm giving him a 7. Edson?
Well, based on what you just said, I mean, the fact is he's still a defender. So he gets a 6 from me today, especially with how secure we looked once Kieran Tierney came on. Once we saw the stark difference between it, and he's not at the moment giving me enough offensively to warrant any more than a 6, and especially like you said, the recent run of games. It's not just been a couple of games. You know what I'm saying? Like we can go back now. He was key in a few goals against, and in key moments.
That's right.
And these are goals that cost us points.
That's right.
And we brought him into because he was supposed to be a mentality monster, and and he's been that in a lot of ways for us so far this season. But we need these players now to show up in these moments. This is why we bought them. And he's come up a little short, unfortunately. So, and you talk about playing in the midfield. I mean, where you have Thomas Partey that's on the bench, so where in the midfield, I would sit him. It's just the way that we play. We become a little predictable in a lot of ways, anyways. Over the last few previous games to these two over here, and to Arteta's credit, he's made the changes, a little bit later than what we were calling for here on the show, but he's made the changes and it's worked.
So for your next game, I think it's Brighton, I believe.
Yeah.
You start Tierney, or you start Zinchenko. I know what's going to happen, but you yourself, you too, would you start Tierney over Zinchenko next game?
I would. Sully March is no joke, or whoever they trot out on the right there. And Ciso, all these guys, Buenanote, the next Argentine game. Huh?
Batoma is there as well, right?
Batoma's out the other side. Ben White's going to have his hands full. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they De Zerbi's a type of coach that will switch wings.
He'll switch them, certainly. But what they have on the right is already quite good, and Sully March just sat this last game, so I'm sure he'll be raring to go if they do select him. They're both handfuls, everything they got is a handful out there. Danny Welbeck against his old teams has a history of scoring, and he's still a handful and a wicked professional, a great signing for them. Brighton is a problem, they're a problem. Lewis Dunk in the back,
Caicedo, I think, is going to have a shop window type game for him as well. He's going to be immense.
I put money.
The Stupian guy is amazing as well. So yeah, it's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. That game's going to be tough, of course. But I think I start Tierney. I think I do.
I think we need the extra defensive security and surety.
I think so too.
Yeah.
If everything goes correctly and you want to take Tierney off 70th minute and put Zinchenko to add a little bit of a different flavor to it, be my guess. But I think in the beginning, Kieran Tierney has to start.
And I think maybe if Tierney starts, it might actually clear a pathway into the team for Trossard with a little more security on that side. Maybe you could replace Xhaka like we did in the second half when we substituted Vieira out and brought Trossard in, and things worked really well. Like maybe key to being able to do that effectively is having Tierney there, being the foil on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Brighton was watching this game closely too, right? So they're
well, the thing is,
they're watching.
Yeah. The thing is, I mean, it's Trossard against Brighton, so Trossard must start, right? So he's shown that he's shown an unwillingness to sit Saka, right? So you have to fit Trossard in the team somewhere. So you tell me where, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like I think Trossard deserves a start, and based on the run of games, I think it would be Saka between the top three. But when it comes to Zinni, Like, I think that's where Brighton would target their attack against us next game. So I agree. Tierney, I think, needs serious contention for a start next game.
I believe.
Because they're a dangerous team. They're just as dangerous as Newcastle. So I think we might see a change there, but let's see.
I would hope so. I would hope so. And talking about Trossard and Gabriel Jesus together was magic, and we haven't seen it again since. I don't understand why.
We were begging for it. It finally happened, and it was everything that we thought it would be.
It was magic.
Yeah.
But I never to be seen again. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But anyway,
play Tierney and do the dueling eights that we're talking about, trying to convert as Mill Smith Rowe to. You know what I mean? Do it with Trossard. He's capable. He's capable. He can do it.
I mean, I just don't understand why he doesn't play more. I know Saka should have come off at half for me today, but again, I don't make the decisions. I'm not a.
It shouldn't have started. Shouldn't have started. It's been a string of performances for him too.
So him, I can understand fatigue. Zinchenko, he didn't go to the World Cup. I don't buy that. But Saka, yes, World Cup, played all the games, plays 90 minutes in what tournament are they qualifying for? Euro, is it Nations League or Euro that they're qualifying for? Plays the full 90 minutes, both games in those, gets kicked up and down the field. I get it. He does need a break, but I don't know if your Arteta is going to be, have the stones enough to sit him for a game or two. But we shall see. Going into the midfield, surprising start for us for Arsenal. Jorginho took Partey's place. We will start with Edson.
Again. Second time in a row, and when have we seen him put a foot wrong really in his performances? He was amazing today. Nothing short of plays it differently from Partey, like we were saying a little bit earlier. Really busy, but in a good way, not frantic, and really in people's faces, winning the ball, pressing, creating, from the back, like just and mature. When Xhaka is getting red hot, who's the one that's putting a hand on him, cooling him down, getting him back on task? Who was leading the huddle? Who was leading the huddle? Right? Jorginho was the one, and he's been, good on him. He's been a real professional. He's been on the sidelines, cheering on and coaching, and we've seen all kinds of different clips of this, and not dropping his head, and really creating a good atmosphere from the bench and just leading, and I'm glad he got these two runouts in two important games. Partey has looked like he's needed a rest too. It's another guy who's really his performances kind of fell off a cliff there. And this is why we have these players, and not to say that Partey maybe if anybody has deserved, especially from this season, from their performances, a shot or two after a bad game, it's Partey. And I think that his timing was right in the way that he's brought Jorginho in. If anything, I think that maybe he could have gotten a look over Xhaka on one or two occasions. I thought the Vieira when Vieira started, I was like, what? The Jorginho's there. That was the first name that came to mind. Much less thinking about Trossard, who came on and showed that he could play the position in the second half. So, Jorginho today, an 8's unfair. So I'm going to say a 9 today.
Well, that's my 9 performance today. He was fantastic. As much as we say QER is neat and calm and tidy, Jorginho, that's all I can say about him today. It's he was fantastic today. Fantastic. So I'm giving him a 9. And Tech.
He's a key part in the first goal too.
That's right. He passed it to Odegaard. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he faked the pass to the right towards Saka and brought it towards the middle. And we'll get to Odegaard a little later, but yeah, Jorginho brings that calmness for us, right? I think Partey gives us maybe higher defensive qualities and the speed and aggression. Jorginho makes up for that with everything else that he does. Like, he is a leader. He is calm. He rarely does he make the bad pass. I think there was maybe once today.
He's passing forward though. He's passing
forward.
He's passing forward. You know what I mean?
And he's always in the right position, right? With that lack of speed, just his awareness of where he is on the pitch and who's around him, he makes up for it. And
yeah, you know what though? He's got good quickness over small spaces. So like when he's turning and he's moving from one man to another, he does it very speedily. Like it doesn't look like he's slow out there. Maybe in a foot race, but he doesn't find himself in them because he plays well positioned.
Yeah, and Arteta loves him for what? His IQ, his intelligence, he's just such a smart player, man. And yeah, the leadership qualities, bringing the huddle together, probably calming guys down, and just trying to see the rest of the season out with the younger guys. I think another masterclass from Arsenal and bringing him in on the dollar that we paid. He's becoming a key part on this finish for the season. So a high 8 for Jorginho from me. I really like what I saw today from him.
We're keeping Jorginho, yeah.
Oh, we should.
I think so. I 100% think so. I'm just throwing.
He signed for 2 years, didn't he?
Right. Yeah, but there were rumors that he was going to be moving on. There was some kind of agreement.
They want to go back to Italy or something like that.
Yeah.
We'll see. I hope. Well, I think he stays for the next season, Champions League and all that, unless he can find another team that's in Champions. But you're not going to find a team like Arsenal. With the fans, the atmosphere, the kit. Please, there's nothing better, right?
He might be enticed. He might be enticed by Napoli. I would say.
I think a Napoli, and I was talking about this yesterday. I think Napoli's going to have a fire sale. They've done it, and I think they're going to get rid of a lot of the players that helped them do it. Right, so that's the way Italy is. You win. Unless you're Juve or Inter, those teams that have the money, I think they don't usually keep the guys. They win the championship, and like 8-9 guys next season are gone. So Osimhen's always on people's lips about a move. So we'll see.
If they sell Osimhen, they'll be able to afford Rasmus Højlund or one of those guys. They're firmly in the Champions League. They can sell 1 or 2 guys, make big profit, and still come back and replace some guys with veterans like a Jorginho. You know what I mean? Plug in and still have a really good squad over there. So
okay. Jorginho's partner Xhaka. We'll start with Tech.
Xhaka, man. All the things we used to hate Xhaka for,
all the things you guys used to hate Xhaka for. Let's get that straight. You guys.
He's gotten rid of it, man. Today was a heated game, and this was prime for a Xhaka moment, just with how aggressive the entire match was. But he kept cool. He made a huge defensive play on Willock.
That's right.
Like, I don't know. It's just a different person, man. Feels like almost like a new signing with Xhaka this year. I don't know. It's hard to find fault with Xhaka's performance today. I always get worried with them playing Jorginho and Xhaka and just the lack of pace with both of them. But you don't see it when on the pitch. They make up for it in different ways and important ways for us. So anyways, not to go on any longer. I think Xhaka gets a high 8 as well today.
Well, you already know I'm giving him an 8. Again, that's the type of guy that you need in games like that. Didn't lose his cool, but he he made sure that Newcastle knew that he was there.
Yep.
I mean, in previous seasons, even if Xhaka was there or not, we would get pushed around and no one would do anything. Now we have players with character, the Gabriels, the Xhakas, the Nketiah at the end when he turned around and pushed. I think it was Shar that was pushing him. In previous seasons, we would just get pushed and let it go. Now we're pushing back. So, and I think that's more of Xhaka's character rubbing off on some of the other players. Not stepping over the line, but coming really close. So I'm giving him an 8, and a high 8 as well. Xhaka's my guy. Edson.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of a well-balanced performance from him, like when you make your plate up at Thanksgiving, he just kind of gave you a little bit of everything today. Xhaka was Xhaka-ing, and he is he is our number 8 essentially. You know what I mean, like in the midfield, and that was an 8 that he threw up there today, a solid 8.
Definitely. We'll round off the midfield with our captain, who put in a man of the match performance. He was everywhere.
Woo-wee.
Scored a goal. Scored a great goal. Scored 2 great goals on Tuesday night as well. 3 goals and 2 from our attacking midfielder. It's a 9 performance for me. We'll move to Edson.
Yeah, he is magical, but we can't he does all this while doing the hard yards. Like in the NBA, everyone marvels over like a two-way player. Like he really is giving us a lot of pressing, a lot of action. Nicking the ball, being involved, just kind of in so much. He is integral, and when the link play is there, and Jorginho really helped that today. He and Jorginho, and then when Trossard comes on, the connection and the sort of chemistry that they have to be able to really find each other and get play going towards the goal is like, and then unlock lines. Like they know how. I don't know. It's just like they really operate well together. I don't know exactly how else to say, like the passes are in the right places, like they're thinking a pass ahead and thinking for the next person, and Partey has had a dip, and usually the connection's been good, but Jorginho to Odegaard and last week and in previous weeks his connection with Trossard and just the players around him, obviously with Saka, they sing so well together. On that side and combine well, even when Saka's kind of like not in the best of form. So Odegaard is just carrying us, he's just carrying us, goals from our number 10, this is something, during the Mesut Ozil era that we've been lacking, not to mention, the work rate that goes along with it. We are Arsenal. We can have it all. We don't have to settle. This is the new number 10, and I think that we have not just one of we have the prototype. He is the new prototype. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne, whatever you want to call him, De Bruyne, I think, played a little bit more off of the wings, whereas Odegaard can do the dirty work and I mean, obviously De Bruyne does dirty work and does the yards and whatever is required, but Odegaard, I think my 10 gets a 10. Okay. Is what I'm getting.
Oh, you're giving him a 10.
My 10 gets a 10 today. That's right. Oh. My 10 gets a 10.
Oh, heck.
That's my 10 as well, by the way. You play to win the game. Yes, and this guy has been producing for us in the best way possible, right? He's scoring goals as our number 10. And what is that? Like 15 on the season? And we've seen this goal before, man. This, that daisy cutter special. I remember against Tottenham away, Same sort of goal.
That's right.
Last week, two bangers on the left.
That's right.
That he's.
This one is from deeper. This one's from
it was far out, eh?
This is far out.
Holy.
It had to go between legs. Let's not
That's right.
undersell this goal here.
No.
And the other thing that we're not really mentioning is that it was totally against the run of play. It was a
100%.
different game until that goal happened. Just
100%.
just like if that Willick cross to Murphy where he hits it off the post, if that goes in, it's a totally different game we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that out of nothing, out of somebody maybe almost like not intelligently, but like not thinking he could shoot from that deep. That's Steph Curry range. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's a title challenge extending goal. We're still in it thanks to that.
That's right.
Yeah. He's producing for us. I forget what the stat was. It 5 and 5 goals wise, but
That's a lot.
Yeah, like he gives our front three that support that they need, right? In terms of goal production. So I don't know. I love the guy. He only played 79 minutes today, but every minute he playing that two-way role that he does so well too. So yeah, Odegaard gets my 10 and likely man of the match award for me today.
Looks like that's going to be the man of the match. I thought it was going to be Jorginho, but Odegaard put in a great performance today as well. So it looks like he's going to be the man of the match. So we'll finish off the ratings the starting 11 ratings with the three up top. We'll run through that really quick. Tech, we'll start with you with Martinelli.
Gabby was danger today, man. He created a lot for us today. Unlucky on some chances. He hit the bar on a nice curler, but he gave Trippier problems today. So really, really good performance and likely the star performance from the top three, I think, today.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's gonna get a 9 from me today. Love the energy, love the speed, love the skill. A couple times he maybe could have did a little better with the finishing, but yeah, a really, really solid performance from Martinelli today.
Edson?
Yeah, Martinelli was great. He was. We're just so lucky. He was really like you could see it in Kieran Trippier's attitude. Like he was extra salty today. He was having a bad day at the office, bro. And it's all thanks to Martinelli. He was really making them run, stretching him. And then on the goal, the fact is he makes the defensive play there at the edge of the box, right? And then it turns the other way, is gone, you know what I mean, and stretching the defense and, gets his just rewards. It's an own goal, but it's Martinelli's goal. He was decisive. Just because it doesn't say it's his goal on the score sheet doesn't mean it's not his goal. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give him a 9.
Oh, okay. I gave him a high 8. He was fantastic today, as like everyone said. And even for the goal, the own goal, I was kind of concerned that he wasn't just running at these guys, because these guys wouldn't be able to catch him. But I think one of the commentators was saying that, I just slowed up the ball a little bit, got the defender standing still, and just bolted by him, which is probably the smarter thing to do. So yeah, I'm giving him a high 8. He was great today. Giving problems, like you said, giving problems to Trippier all game. Him and Gabriel Jesus, he's probably going to have nightmares of those two guys, Kieran Trippier. Speaking of Jesus, we'll talk about him next. I'm giving him an 8, a high 8 as well. Just getting the Newcastle fans, the Newcastle defense, just rattling them all game. I love it. I love it when your player picks up the ball and they boo. That means you're doing something. So whether it's being diving or a couple of times, I don't know how these guys didn't end up with a red card today. There was elbows everywhere today, and I don't understand. But
back of the head elbows, Tierney.
I don't get it. Yeah. That Gordon kid, he's a hack, and he caught him in the back of the head. Terrible.
One yellow, or two yellows actually. 2 yellows.
Yeah, we got one too. And it was just like, how can you start handing out yellows for that, and you're not looking at? I think it was Shar on the sidelines to Gabriel Jesus. He threw him an elbow, man.
Great elbow.
Threw an elbow
right through.
And it's just I don't. Anyways, I don't get. I gave him a high 8 just because, like I said, he was rattling everybody. He didn't score, but he was. You have to make sure that you're watching that guy. Tech.
It reminded me of like his old role with City, right? Not so much the creative Gabriel that we've been used to this season, but the hard-working, tracking back, putting in a foot, putting pressure in. I don't even know if he got a chance today, really, to be honest. But like, he did all the other things so well today, and
that's right.
And he put their defense under some serious pressure off the build of play. So it was a solid performance. I think having someone in our front line that's willing to do the dirty work, is really useful for us, especially with 2 young wingers that we have. So solid performance. The one thing I still want to say though, like as much as us and the commentator saying this was a physical aggressive game, like Newcastle were playing dirty, man. Dirty play.
They're hacks, all of them.
And like whatever, Kavanaugh, whatever the hell his name is.
He's terrible.
Was not doing anything for it. So I don't know. That was one thing I was kind of pissed off about today, but the fact that Gabby stood in.
The referee was terrible today. It was terrible.
Yeah.
The ref's rating is in the negatives. It's in the minus.
Oh God, it's bad. Yeah. And then the fourth official is that other clown. What the Anthony Taylor. Terrible. Horrible. Terrible. I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised that they didn't call that a PK. The one on QER. I was so convinced they were going to give it, even though we can see it came off his leg. No. Yes, I thought they were going to give it.
Yeah, but, no. I felt I actually did have my doubts too. Even after they called him to the booth, I'm like, oh, he might stick with this. Like, don't give it. Like, you better not.
I was waiting for him to do the box and then point at the spot again, and I was going to go crazy. VAR actually helped us.
But sorry,
VAR didn't help us. He made the right call. It's not help. He made the right call. So
he didn't make the right call. The person in the booth made the right call, and then he agreed. But it's right. That's no easy call for anyone. So
no, definitely. So back to Jesus, I'm giving him an 8. By the way, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Edson.
Oh, Jesus, yeah, he gets an 8. Yeah, he was physical. Those center backs know that they were in a battle today. He gives us the option to be able to go long. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that without him. He does bring others into play, and it was good hold up play and just good pressing from the top, interchanging with Gabriel going over into the down the pipe. You saw Saka kind of like roam over onto that side too. They're just, I feel like they're kind of getting comfortable with each other, and I feel like he pulls Saka into the play a lot as well. And he's just a menace. He gets to a lot of balls that you don't think he's going to get to. Is able to control a lot of balls well that he does. You don't think he's able to control. Do I want my striker to be super clinical? Yes, and I think that's still to come from him. So best is yet to come. He's still, I mean, we're not even in this prime years yet,
Right.
And more time with Trossard, I think, is going to lead to more goals once we really exploit that combination. I hope that we do coming up against Brighton. So A performance.
Okay, 8s across the board for Gabriel Jesus, and finally we'll end off with Starboy Kyle Sacco. Start off with Edson.
Yeah, my rating matches the number on his back, the number 7. This today was a little bit better than it's been, but he looks like he really needs the rest. And today, got kicked a number of times. You want to talk about no protection? This is why if you don't protect your own English stars, then what's the sense? You know what I mean? Like, what's the sense? English FA. It's all one organization. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is there not more protection? Earlier in the season, they said that they made a plea to the referees and presented a case, and I'd like to know where this is at and what kind of a response that got, because it's not proving out on the field. We're not seeing it at all. Every week in and week out, he gets just absolutely awful treatment. But to his credit, he bites back a little more now. And I like to see that that's present in his game. Without that, his rating might be lower. But he still shows the fight, regardless of the fact that looks like he's operating on rubber legs. So he's our workhorse, and still obviously our future, our everything. So Saka gets the same number that he rocks on his back, number 7.
Okay, Jack.
Yeah, I think a 7 is fair for Saka. Maybe even a bit too generous, but I think he starts at a 7 and doesn't go any lower with every game that he plays. But yeah, he looks tired. He does look tired. I think he's due for some rest. And we got a great player to sub in if needed, right? So I'd like to see Arteta just protect him a little bit more, especially on with his contract situation and everything too. I don't know what the plan is to announce that or confirm that, but he is our star boy. He is our future. Maybe not the greatest game today, but he still brings that danger to other teams, and there's so much focus on him that opens up other areas of play for us. So yeah, let's get him some rest. Hopefully he'll finish against Nottingham or Wolves for us. But I think we got to give him a bit of a break just so he gets his legs back. So yeah, 7 for me on Saka.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying about him looking tired. I also agree with what Edson said about having that little bit of bite in his game. I'm giving him a 7 as well. He has to be. I know he's tired of getting kicked, but I mean he's got to be tired. He's got to be tired physically as well. So to your point, Edson, I don't know. I don't know why this guy does not get protected. Like, he is the future of your national team, and this gets destroyed every week. Up and down the field, he's getting kicked. Bruno Gomes today, that could have been very bad.
Through the back, that was disgusting. Yeah. I thought that was disgusting.
That's ankle ligaments, that's Achilles, that's a whole bunch of things gonna happen from that tackle, but it's an accident, so it's all good. I don't understand. I don't get it.
I don't believe it was an accident either. I saw Gomes say, "Oh yeah, I was looking at the ball over there."
Yeah. They only showed us one replay.
Right. It's garbage.
He deliberately extended his stride to do the stamp. It wasn't a natural motion. It was garbage. Subtle. It was subtle, but it was awful and really effective if you're trying to take some life points off of somebody, you know?
That's right. It's a terrible place to. It's from behind, so I don't. I'm not gonna get into it. I don't even think he got a card for it, but whatever. I mean,
No,
it's from behind. I don't know.
First card,
it's ruled for some people, and the rules don't matter for other people. So I don't know. We'll move to the bench now. There's only 5 people came in off the bench today, and then we'll give Arteta's rating. We'll go quickly through this. We're almost an hour and 20. So Trossard. We'll start with Tech.
Tierney
first, no?
Want to go Tierney first? Okay, go ahead, Tierney then.
Sure, Tierney was great. He, I think, solidified that clean sheet and the win for us. Seemed like he was in on every sort of attack that Newcastle was making. Either getting the ball out or getting a foot in or getting his head on something. So in the 30 minutes that he played, he had a really, really solid contribution today. So I'm going to give him an 8.
8, Edson?
Yeah, that's an 8 performance from the bench. That's a solid 30 minutes of just again, defensive calm leadership, getting down to the task, the dirty work, he was fouled. He had someone go through his back. That was another just really disgusting one, and it's Kieran Tierney. What did he do? He just got up and shook it right off. If anything, he should have sat on the ground a little longer and milked it for a little more time off the clock.
That's not his style.
No, it's not. It's not his style. And, thank goodness we got somebody that's built like that. You know what I mean? We thought he was going to be our captain for quite a long time. Now he can't even get on the field. We've come a long way, baby. That being said, I would hate to see him fall into Newcastle's clutches. Hopefully, he's maybe true to what he said before, which is, hey, whatever extension they put in front of me, I'll sign it, and stays and fights for his place, because I think that we could definitely use him on the journey through Champions League next season, and just with the run of games that we're going to have to play.
I think Kiwior and Tierney, the Manchester City game, is different. But
who brought it up now?
We're not gonna go back. I guess it's already done. So I think next to come in was Thomas Partey, I believe. Was it Partey? Partey and Trossard, I think, were next to come in. Go ahead, Edson. Trossard.
I mean, he does what he does. Think about it. A few times he was the last man back defensively, doing some really good defensive work at the edge of the box, stuff like that. We can play him anywhere, man. Just play him, okay? That's it. We can play him anywhere. After his performance last game and the previous game when he came on as a sub and created our only goal against City, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are you afraid of? Martinelli can play on the right, extremely well. You could shift to a diamond and have Trossard, sort of at the tip of the diamond, and then Martinelli and Deuce up top, as dueling strikers. You know what I'm saying? And play a little bit wider. There are all kinds of ways you can go. What are we doing? You know what I mean? Let's try some of this stuff. We got nothing to lose at this point, So, and we really, and seeing him link up with Gabriel Jesus is what we want to see. Another chance not to see it today, unfortunately. So, but no fault of his. He's always at the very least solid when he comes on, and he was that again today. So 7.
And Tech.
Yeah, I don't think he was at fault for anything today. I think just the lack of time or lack of minutes that he got. It didn't seem like the ball was worked through him at that point in the game. He was really brought in to, bring in some fresh legs. I think Martinelli was really tired towards the end of the game, and defensively he did well. So, I'll give him a 7. I think he deserves a start. He deserved a start in the past few games, but with Brighton, playing his former team, the way he left the team as well, I think he's primed for a big performance if he does get a start next week. So
he has to. I think Mikel Arteta is the type of guy that will start you against your former team. Did it with Jorginho on the week on Tuesday. I cannot see Trossard not starting on against Brighton. I can't see it.
Well, he did it with Vieira. Persisted to do it with Vieira in Europa, and didn't quite pay off. And has since his loyalty to him has since, I think, not paid off, and maybe been dented a little bit. So, but yeah, I definitely imagine that if you want to keep some harmony in that dressing room, Trossard's going to start.
But he's just like the numbers, man. The numbers tell you. Like, I know Arteta's big on the data.
Yes.
It's just like, why? I don't understand why. Even against Chelsea, he started. They started well, very quickly. When he came off.
We don't lose games that he starts.
Yeah, every game that he starts, like, we start quickly. So I don't know. We'll see what happens at Brighton, but.
Anyways, hopefully he gets the start against his former club.
Must play.
Has to. Not only play, he has to start. Has to. You can sit Saka and bring him on, or Martinelli, whoever you want, but it's got to start. Thomas Partey. Oh, I'm giving Trossard a 7 as well. Sorry. Like Tex said, didn't get enough time, I think, to really do anything, and at that point, I think we were more in defensive mode anyway. So he gets a 7 from me. Thomas Partey, I will start. I will give him a 7. Again, coming in to solidify the midfield, I guess. Not get forward, not lose the ball, keep things ticking, and play defensively. So, again, not a lot of time, but I'm giving him a 7. Tech.
Yeah, and the interesting part about that substitution, I thought Partey was going to compliment Jorginho and sort of sit back with him. He was the one tracking Guimaraes towards the end of the game, and he even gave him a bit of a foot action in one of the first tackles he was in. So happy with that. Surprising in terms of where he's positioned with that substitution, but I see why Arteta did it now. But yeah, a good performance. I think he was one other player that probably needed a bit of rotation. I don't know if it was for fatigue or just, I don't know, something was off the past few games or during that draw run with Partey there. So Jorginho looks very, very tidy and a good, substitute for him. But if we're talking about today's game again, I think a 7 is fair for him.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, someone said that it's the Declan Rice effect, and that all this talk about Declan Rice is kind of getting to him a little bit, and that it's kind of penetrating into the dressing room and stuff like that, and that he's maybe feeling a little bit inadequate, if you will, and so had a hit to his confidence. This is a theory that's been floated out there. I would prefer to go with the idea that he's drained. He's had a long campaign, and and he's been there for us, and we've depended on him a lot. And he's had a World Cup in which he's had to play all those minutes. So only been in and out of the lineup just a couple of times, very briefly. So this is why we have Jorginho. I mean, I'm going to give him a 6 because I feel like I'd like to see even more fight out of him. You know what I mean? Coming on as a substitute. You know, I'd like to see like those, like an El Neni versus Man United a couple of years back type performance. You know, where it's like, okay, well, I've got all this energy, you know, pent up, and someone took my spot, and I'm trying to win it back. You know, I would have liked to see a little bit more of an elevated performance. You know, and it is a spiky kind of steely game. You know, really put the spikes into someone. You know what I'm saying? Like leave a mark. You know what I mean? Like even in your limited minutes, leave a mark on them and on the game a little bit more. That said, you know, I think he's working his way back to his best form, but he's not. You know, he's not.
Who came in next? Nketiah and Nelson, it looks like. I didn't see much from Nelson. I'm giving him a 5. I didn't really see much from him. Not enough time to really rate, but we'll still give him a rating, I guess.
Nelson gets a 7 for me before Partey would. That's for sure.
You're giving him a 7?
Yeah. He came in the defensive bits. You know what I mean? Really professional few minutes. So 7 in the minutes that he had, I think, is extremely fair. You know, and I think that he's kind of been he's justified to feel a little bit hard done by, you know, in this run-in here, and not having been, you know, maybe called on or depended on a little bit more or turned to. And I can understand why maybe, you know, if a contract was floated out there to him, that he might be looking elsewhere, you know. And if a team like a Brighton were to get him, I'd be afraid to see what he could become, you know, with that coach there in that system. You know, I think that nobody knew about a damn Sully March, and Reece Nelson was supposed to be a generational talent. And if we send him to a team like that in the Premier League and he gets a shot, I shudder to think. I really feel like, you know, I mean, again, nobody expected Saka to surpass him in the pecking order up until when he actually did it. So yeah, I would be scared to see Reece Nelson on another Premier League team, a lot like Kieran Tierney. So my 2 cents.
Yeah, and the reports are saying that he has turned down contract offers now, right?
Yep.
Can't remember the fee. I think it was like 35 a week, maybe, but yeah, it's tough. You know, he's one of the Hale End kids, and you know, when he has come on, he's produced. It's just for whatever reason, you know, it's hard to find minutes for him, right? But anyways, today, I don't know. When I was watching the game, like his body language seemed like right when he was coming in as a sub, and Arteta was talking in his ear. I don't know, something seemed.
He's off. He's gone. He's gone to another place. What he's doing now is auditioning for another team. You know what I'm saying? And his next job. That's what it looks like. He was barely taking Arteta in. He went out there and did a professional job, and I can't blame him for not taking Arteta in. Like I said, you know, after the performances that he had, you know, going right back down to the bench, not getting a look. You know, when Martinelli was struggling, or now that even that Saka is struggling, you know, I think that he should have gotten 30 minutes today. You know,
yeah,
I think reasonably he could have gotten, you know, 30, 25 minutes today, not the, you know, the scraps that he got at the end.
No, it's true. It's true. And when he did come in, though, yeah, to Edson's point, I think he did well defensively. I think he shit his pants on on one of the crosses that came in off his foot, and you know, no Newcastle player was able to get a touch in the net there. But anyways, you know, good on him. I think you know, he deserves minutes. If it's not on our team, then you know, perhaps another. So you know, Reece gets a high 6 from me today.
High 6.
Yeah.
Stingy.
I gave him a 5. Well.
Criminal.
And we'll end off the last guy on the subs bench to come on, and that was Eddie Nketiah. Edson, you can start with your.
Eddie, he got into it at the end there. He was not backing down from anyone, and I like that little bite in that fight there. didn't have enough time to do anything. It's just sort of like the continuation of his rehab, and he's going to be stuck in this role until the end of the season. And we know one thing, that we're not going to have any trouble out of Eddie. You know what I mean? Where he ain't going to be a disruptive force. He's going to take what comes to him in terms of playing time, and he's going to be happy with it. And that's a 7. I'll give him a 7 too, for the pluckiness. I like it.
Tuck?
Yeah, I like the pluckiness, as Edson said. The one thing I wanted more from him was that El Nani Man United energy. Seemed like he was jogging a bit at times, and
did you see him get pulled down by the neck and no call? Did you see that?
Yeah, I agree. But he stood up for himself after the fact. So yeah, Fabian Schär was like probably the biggest.
Unbelievable what you can get away with. Unbelievable, man.
Yeah. So, in the little minutes that he got, he ended up getting a yellow for sticking up for himself, really, which was unfair. But yeah, I don't know. Eddie knows his role. He does it well when asked. So yeah, he's gonna get a 6 from me, only because he didn't have a lot of time to really affect much in the game.
Right.
Yeah, I gave him a 6 as well, based off of that, standing up for yourself type of thing. Like we said many years ago, it would have just been a push, and then you look at the ref, no call, and then you get on with it. But now it looks like we're starting to push back, maybe even start the pushing, which is what I like to see. So those are the player ratings. We'll do the coach now, and to finish this whole thing off, it's safe to say that Martin Odegaard is the Clock Enders podcast man of the match. Honorable mentions go to Martinelli, Jorginho, and Cuellar. But let's rate the manager. I know Edson started off saying that he got the lineup right. For me, I don't think he did, but we'll start with Edson.
Yeah, I mean, my rating is still going to be sort of reflective of, the couldas, the wouldas, the shouldas, the ifs, and the buts, and whatever else. The speculative sort of, hindsight that we're looking at the previous results with, considering how good what's out there, especially at the back right now. It's hard not to think about it. So for the what ifs, I'm giving him an 8.
Tech?
I'm giving Arteta a 9 today. Key reason. Last year, playing Newcastle away, we know how that ended up.
Yes.
And the transformation from that team to this team that played today,
yes,
huge. A clean sheet, goals. That's I think a big reason for that is what Arteta has brought to this club. So I know Edson is giving him a rating based on the past few performances. I think my rating is based off of our progression from last year's performance against Newcastle. So it's a huge performance from him today. I think the selection was right, apart from Saka. And I'm one to complain about Jorginho a lot. I think it takes a lot of balls from Arteta to play him over Partey, but he makes the right decision with that. And it's been the past 2 weeks too. So a good performance from Arteta. He's always there to give those team huddles at right points in time during the game. On little breaks and whatnot. So he's a big reason why we are who we are at this point. So good performance from Arteta.
I will say this: the subs to kind of shore it up at the end. The way that we were set up was really secure.
Yeah.
It was really secure. They didn't get a sniff at home. You know what I mean? Basically, down to St. Maximin had that one chance. Outside of that, there wasn't much going on. I was impressed with that, and we have the personnel to do it. And he used his pieces well today. But my aggregate is a little different than yours. Mine is focused. And it's focused on what's happening at the moment and what we're in right now, which is still the title race. But our positioning could have been a little bit different had we maybe tweaked just here or there a little bit, and rotated just a little bit in what was a rough stretch, and we had the pieces to do it.
So the one about the sub thing, I was interested to see that Rob Holding didn't come in to close out a game like that. So I don't know what that's saying about Holding and his future.
We should listen. His future should be sorted now. Okay,
should be done.
You sell him to whoever for whatever.
That's exactly right.
That's it.
Whoever wants him can have him.
That's a change, though, right? That's a change, and that's something that Arteta maybe is admitting now, that he shouldn't see the field at any point in time.
Or maybe Arteta is trying to keep him out of the firing line between the fans and the pundits and all of that, because I know he got ripped a little bit against Man City by the fans, and we're fans, and we ripped them, and pundits ripped them as well. So maybe he's trying to protect them. I don't know, by not putting him into a position like that, because that's the type of game where he probably does get if he starts and plays, he probably does get a card because it was too physical. Sometimes he'll go over the top physical, especially if a guy like Maximilian, that guy is lightning. And I think Ben White actually did do a good job on him. But if he's one-on-one with a guy like Holding, that's going to be an issue. That's going to be an issue. So I gave Arteta an 8 as well. Clean sheet, like Tech said, the balls to sit Partey and play Jorginho in this game, not once but twice in a week. But still, I would still have liked to have seen Tierney and Trossard start. So I'm giving him an 8 for that. Like I said, Odegaard's the Clock Enders podcast, man of the match. We have Brighton at home next week. I know we want to see Trossard start, which I believe he will. Like we said, Arteta's one of those guys that will let you play against your former team. So we'll look out for that. One player that you think shouldn't start next week, I think I know who both of you are going to say, but I'll ask it anyway. One player that you think Trossard should come in for starting lineup. We'll start with Edson. Second screen.
I'm going to surprise you.
I'm
going to surprise you. I'm going to go with your Tierney substitution, and I think that it should. I think it'll work best. I think it'll work best if one person to sit. Jeez, man.
For Trossard, so it's got to be someone up front.
I would sit Xhaka. I know he's not going to sit Saka, and I know. It sounds experimental, but we did it in the second half in that game that Vieira started, and it worked.
To Xhaka?
I know, man.
To Xhaka.
I know. It sounds like Saka. It sounds like Saka. If you're talking about somebody, let's make it focus again. Somebody in the front 3 or front 4 to sit for Trossard, it's Saka.
Well, unfocused is Xhaka. Yeah? Tech, who are you sitting? Unfocused. And then we'll go focused. Unfocused.
Unfocused is still staying in the top 3 of the field, but But yeah, no, that's a tough question. Like, I feel like against Brighton, Saka could be a key part in that game. So I know he's tired, and I think the easy answer is to say him because of that reason. But when Trossard has played down the middle, he's done really well too, right? Interchanging with Martinelli, he knows Brighton, he knows who to target there. So if okay, let's go with Saka, but we might see a change in who's playing where. So we could see Trossard down the middle, Gavi on the left. Sorry, Jesus on the left.
Yeah, you have to.
Martinelli on the right. There's going to be a
Yeah.
rotation nightmare for Brighton if Saka does come out.
If that happens, good luck, Brighton.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'll probably stick with the Saka decision.
I thought both of you would
yeah.
say Saka, but I got a Xhaka. Call. Oh, okay. All right. Well, again, next Sunday, I believe it's home at the Emirates.
Saka, who you got? Saka?
Who, me? I'm taking Saka off.
Yeah.
I need to see Trossard and Gabriel Jesus for 70 minutes. I need to see it. It was, like we said before, it was fantastic. So Brighton next Sunday, I believe, at the Emirates. Getting down to the end of it, only 3 games left. We need favors from a lot of teams. I think City has Brighton, Brentford, and Real Madrid, but whatever. I don't remember who else they have in the league. Everton, who could be fighting for their lives as well. So there's places to slip, but good teams usually don't. But here's hoping, right? So, guys, we'll that's our recap for Newcastle Arsenal. It's a 2-0 win for the Arsenal at St. James's Park. We'll be back next week after the Brighton game. See you then.